Hello. I just thought I'd make an observation. You see, as I told you in my previous video, a lot of people are making something of a god of Joe Biden, and none more so than a lot of the lefty liberals over here in the UK. And that tweet I saw, which I read to you in my last video, is not the only thing I've seen along those lines. In fact, most of it seems to have been lifted straight from The Guardian, from an article in The Guardian. But I am getting messages from various of my ex-writing colleagues, all of whom are very much for Biden and hate Trump, and there's one in particular who keeps sending me messages with clippings about how nasty Trump is or how great Biden is. And I think he thinks he's annoying me. In fact, all he's doing is confirming to me that he is far more of a fool than I thought he was, and that any time I spent discussing writing him was probably a waste of my valuable life. However, I wanted to talk about Neil Kinnick and Joe Biden and that famous plagiarism case. In 1987, on the 15th of May to be precise, Neil Kinnock made a speech to the Welsh Labour Party at a conference in Llandudno, where I used to have a friend living. Actually, she's moved now. But she wasn't in the Labour Party, I might say. And the bit of his speech that became a great rhetorical flourish was this: why am I the first Kinnock in 1,000 generations? And by the way, a Kinnock is not a term of abuse in this case. It's the name his family name. Just so you're aware of that. Why am I the first Kinnock in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university? Why is my wife Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university? Was it because all our predecessors were thick? Did they lack talent? Anyway, now, shortly thereafter, when Joe Biden was making a speech, he said at a conference on August the 23rd, 1987, that is 4 months at the most after Kinnock's speech in May, he says, Biden said this: I started thinking as I was coming over here, why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university? Biden then gestured to his wife and continued, why is it that my wife, who is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college? Is it because our fathers and mothers were not bright? Is it because I'm the first Biden in 1,000 generations to get a college and a graduate degree that I was smarter than the rest? So, that's a direct lift, a non-attributed lift, which is actually plagiarism. Now, setting aside the fact that 1,000 generations, look, if you take the Bible, that's 38 years. A generation is 38 years. If you take modern sociologists, it's either 25 years or 20 years. At the very least, 1,000 generations would be 20,000 years ago. And you'd think that although Kinnock might have been throwing in some poetic, bardish Welsh license there, Biden might have used a little bit of critical thinking there to maybe tweak the message. But no, he didn't even think about the fact that 1,000 generations meant back to a time before we even had cities and writing, let alone universities. No, he just took the whole thing wholesale and reused it without even thinking about it. And this is the man who that previous tweet, and I might say a few other messages that I've had about Biden, telling that he's such an ethical man. However, I did want to make this observation. that they may have a point that Biden believes in equality and ethics. Because, you see, after he has acknowledged that in 1,000 generations his forebears could not go to university, at least this time he gave them the chance to vote. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.